Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Crystal. Hey, Dorothy, if you're still here. Hey, Mrs. Tom, if you're still here. Lord, I had to entertain the military. I had to entertain the military call, Lord. You know, you know how military folks are. You know they folk have to move to the side for the military. You know, with everything that's going on right now. Lord, have mercy. Lord, please protect our military, protect us. Just, Lord, be a fence of protection. Hey, Willie Spencer. And if y'all know, y'all Auntie Fee, when I was having that phone call, I had to go off into, I needed to see if people were still planning on serving, planning on going. You know, hey, Joe, trying to see if folk know what's real. I mean, spiritually, where we at, who we fighting for. You know, I had to take that temperature, and you know, any other time I would have waited to take that call another time, but I just have to make sure that we know what's really going on and what this is really about. And you know, folk would have been in the military. Met him in the 90s. Been knowing this man for a minute, you know, and ever since I met him, he's been in the military. And he went in more than one branch, and it's just hurtful to know what the military is representing right now. You know, it's just not about the U.S., so I'm sorry I'm late, but I needed to take that call and make sure I put my 2 cents in there as if it matters. The country is actually broke. Absolutely, Janet. Deficient. What did they call it? A solvent? Some word I heard yesterday. We broke. And we fighting somebody else's country, and you asking for $200 and some billion to continue to fight this war that's not ours. There we go. Insolvency. Absolutely. I heard it yesterday. Hey, Miss Tom. You know, and although I'm not for I'm for the U.S. military, but you're fighting a war that's not ours, and we're sacrificing for non-believers, you know. So that's why I'm late. So as soon as I got off, I came on because I got the call right before it was time for me to go on. Lord. And, you know, sometimes you just want to touch and see if you're on point. You know, I wanted to see if I'm on point with what I'm saying and how I feel about what's going on. Yeah. Okay, so let's go on. Let's go right on in. I'm gonna start with Elon Musk. You know, the other day, Trump was saying, "Oh, well, good. Yeah, let him pay TSA." And how all of a sudden he done changed his mind. Every time somebody come up with something, he is saying no. He wants us to suffer in any which way we can.
Travelers are stuck in long TSA lines. There's a debate going on in Washington on how to fund the agency. And now, at the same time, a 15...
How are you asking for $200 and something billion to fund a war that's not ours? But you can't pay people their wages, but you want them to work. But you don't want them to work. See, it's propaganda. It's propaganda. He really don't want them to work. If he wanted them to work, it wouldn't have been in the big beautiful bill. So is the Elon Musk offering to pay for it him to, is that all because Elon Musk, I'm gonna keep it real, when I was thinking about it earlier, he is a part of the New World Order. He made trillions. So, and you know, he was in Memphis. He didn't go to Memphis to see how things was going. He went to Memphis to see the progress in that AI. We got to stay woke, baby.
U.S. ceasefire deal has now been shared with Iran, but the president. Now, while travelers are stuck in long TSA lines, there's a debate going on in Washington on how to fund the agency. And now, at the same time, a 15-point U.S. ceasefire deal has now been shared with Iran.
Oh, okay.
But the president is also sending members of the elite 82nd Airborne Division to the region. I want to bring in White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi live for us to break this all down. Olivia, let's start with the TSA funding. That's one bucket we now talk about. That's happening in Congress. Are they any closer to an agreement? And you have some news about Elon Musk, I understand?
Yeah, Liz, it's good to be with you. First, on that new bit about Elon Musk. On Saturday, he offered to pay all of the TSA personnel who have not been paid in the last 2 months in an effort to try to help in this partial government shutdown. Well, Jennifer Jacobs and myself can report that the White House has rejected that offer from Elon Musk for a number of reasons. One being because he is
hold on. Now the other day, hold on. I know I'm moving. I don't have no order on where I'm going because I'm rushing. Hold on. Now here the other day, what day was this? The 23rd. The 23rd. Let's listen to this. On the 23rd. And the 25th. Hold on.
Fox News senior correspondent is live at LaGuardia with more for us. Eric?
Well, this tragedy coming on the heels of TSA chaos. And Elon Musk, mother, wow.
Okay, let's go.
Thank you very much for that report.
I don't know why this volume.
Well, this tragedy coming on the heels of TSA chaos. And Elon Musk wants to be a savior.
He's offering to, quote, pay the salaries of TSA personnel during this funding impasse that is negatively affecting the lives of so many Americans at airports throughout the country. And President Trump is all on board.
What did he say? President Trump is what?
Yeah, I'd love it. I think it's great. Let him do that. And I want to thank ICE.
Let him do that. On the 23rd, he said it's wonderful. I think it's a great idea. Let him do that. Did y'all hear that with y'all good ear?
Yeah, I'd love it. I think it's great. Let him do that. And I want to thank ICE because they stepped in so strongly. They'll do great. And
hey, everybody.
Enough, I'll bring in the National Guard. We're not going to have the Democrats destroy our country.
Joining us now, Senate Homeland Security Committee member Ashley Moody.
Elon is making
Senator,
Trump look
really
like
nice
a fool.
So Elon
I don't
Musk
think.
makes an offer.
I don't know. I don't know how to
Senate
process
Homeland
that.
Security Committee member
Once I
Ashley
thought about it.
If that's not enough, I'll bring in the National Guard. We're not going to have the Yeah, I'd love it. I think it's great. Let him do that. And I want to thank ICE because they stepped in so strongly. They'll do great. And if that's not enough, I'll bring in the National Guard. We're not going to have the Democrats destroy our country.
Joining us now, Senate Homeland Security Committee member Ashley Moody. Senator, it's really nice to see you tonight. All right. So
I don't know. Why would he change his mind?
Do that. Incredibly generous. You've got the move by President Trump to bring in ICE. I think that was a brilliant move in many ways.
No, this is Fox. So 2 days ago, he said, yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah. And if that's not enough, he'll bring on ICE. Right? So what happened in 2 days? What happened? Only thing that I can think of happened is some information about him. Yeah. Information came out about him, his plan for Iran, that has backfired. What has happened? So let's go back to this one where he is saying no for 50 million reasons, as if they had not already
also
talked about
sending
it. Hey,
members of the
JR.
elite 82nd Airborne Division to the region. I want to bring in White House reporter. Now, while travelers are stuck in long TSA lines, there's a debate going on in Washington on how to fund the agency. And now, at the same time, a 15-point U.S. ceasefire deal has now been shared with Iran. But the president is also sending members of the elite 82nd Airborne Division to the region. I want to bring in White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi live for us to break this all down. Olivia, let's start
Why
with
would
the
he
TSA
say? Now
funding.
listen
That's
to
one
all of
bucket
this
we gotta
stuff
talk
as to
about.
why
That's happening in
he
Congress.
changed his
Are
mind.
they any closer to an agreement? And you have some news about Elon Musk, I understand?
Yeah, Liz, it's good to be with you. First, on that new bit about Elon Musk. On Saturday, he offered to pay all of the TSA personnel who have not been paid in the last 2 months in an effort to try to help in this partial government shutdown. Well, Jennifer Jacobs and myself can report that the White House has rejected that offer from Elon Musk for a number of reasons.
What I was
One
saying,
being
the
because
age
he
limit
is
to enlist now is
a
42.
person who has
Y'all, we talked
numerous
about that
government
yesterday.
contracts. Legally, it would be hard for
Oh,
him to
y'all wasn't here
pay
late last
these
night.
individuals.
Or last
there was
night.
an effort and a
Yeah, it's
conversation
42.
underway to
The
have
age
and
limit has
contribute those
increased to
funds
42, and if you have misdemeanor Mary Jane charges, I don't trust his intentions. Who, JR, Elon Musk? Well, see, the thing about it is, the why I want to talk about it, because even Congress, that Kennedy, I'm gonna play it in a minute. He came up with a deal for Congress. Trump and the White House turned it down. Why? Because it's a part of that big, beautiful bill 2025. Hey, Dorothy, where they gonna move TSA out the way and be able to only have, so he wants the people to quit. And he wants ICE to be stationary at the airport so that they can deploy. You know, they just got that ruling today where he don't have to go through the process, so he can deploy them. And then those are votes. He don't have to worry about people voting. This is about voting. So they're at the airport trying to leave, then they're going to get signal, and they're going to be, this is about New World Order. Let me say it again. New World Order. It's about depopulation. It's about human trafficking. Because once they figure out that you are I don't want to say an immigrant, they're going to ship you to wherever they want to ship you. And they'll never find you. You're going to become making America slaves again. This time it just won't be of one race. See, I think some people thinking that it's still going to be black people. Nope. If y'all can remember, a long time ago, maybe about 6-7 months ago, I let y'all hear where somebody in Congress or lawmakers was two guys. It was a Comer and somebody else, and they was talking about setting it up. They was talking about black people not gonna go for it, and whoever was talking, they said they're gonna need to get the females and kids, and they was talking about in order to graduate you would have to have had a kid or be pregnant or something. I'm like, wait, what? And whoever was talking, the guy said, well, how are we going to do that? You remember that, Joe? That it was a conversation. And then they was going to target whites and Hispanics, but not blacks, because they said black people not going to go for it. Yeah, this is all a part of their plan. But at that time, we didn't know about the Epstein files and how intense and how deep in the human trafficking and the sacrificing and allegedly all of that. See, all of that hadn't came out yet. But this plan right here, yeah, there's a whole plan. And it's going to tie into the New World Order, try to tie into this currency. That's their plan. It just ain't going to work. Let's keep going.
To a general
Married with
government fund
children
that
to
goes
be
to
able to
paying
go
employees.
to a university.
However, ultimately, the White House thought it would be too difficult to figure this out.
They had a
legally
whole plan.
and ultimately decided against having him
But
pay.
we did not
There
know
are some
that these elites were fooling with babies and minors, and it just at that point we just didn't know how deep it was. But they have all. That's why some of the things that they are letting through. It's like why no one is stopping them? Why? Because they have a plan. It's the elites. When Trump was doing his deposition, and he said, men been raping women for millions, 5 million years or some crazy number." He said, "Y'all remember that?" Yeah.
It's out there that it would be about
Teenage married
$250
with
million
kids.
that he was willing to pay. TSA today said it would be
No, it wasn't about
$1
being
billion
married. They just had to be
of back
pregnant.
pay, essentially, for those workers.
I've had a baby.
So quite notable there. On the funding,
It didn't
that
make
is
sense
still
to-
ongoing in Congress today. We know senators have employees.
So
However,
he denied
it would be
Elon
hard
Musk.
for him to pay these individuals. There was an effort being because he is a person who has numerous government contracts. Legally, it would be hard for him to.
How would it be legally hard for him to pay? Legally hard for who to pay? He's a trillionaire, right? Trump made him a trillionaire. So it'll be because he has other contracts with Trump now. Oh, okay. Let's go.
He is a person who has numerous government contracts. Legally, it would be hard for him to pay these individuals. There was an effort and a conversation underway to have him contribute those funds to a general government fund that goes to paying employees. However, ultimately, the White House thought it would be too difficult to figure this out legally and ultimately decided against.
So because it would be too difficult for them to figure it out, they said no to people getting paid. But they found a way for ICE to get paid. Nobody else. But that's because they want to do away with the TSA and their union. They want to be able to replace those employees with the KKK. I mean the ICE. I mean the KKICE, right? Dictator, bypass laws, do what they want to do, how they want to do it, when they want to do it, to who they want to do it to. It's going to be just like that ICF or IDF or whatever it is over there in Israel, where the guys who raped and murdered and was brought up on charges and the charges got dropped. See, he's mimicking Bibi Netanyahu. Oh, okay. Let me set it up. I didn't set it up.
Having him pay.
Heritage Society, Heritage Foundation is a prominent
$250
conservative
million
thing.
that he was willing to pay. TSA today said it would be $1 billion of back pay, essentially, for those workers. So quite notable there. On the funding fight, though, that is still ongoing.
So you talking about the back pay? Do they not have intentions on back paying the employees? Whether Elon Musk go ahead and pay it or not, they don't get back pay. So they still employed, but what, I mean, what, y'all, this is some of the craziest mess ever. But we funding the war that's not ours. You're asking for $200 billion to continue losing, losing, losing. Can I say it again? Losing in this war. What do you need? You need $200 billion to lose. Okay, Miss, here I come. Okay, hold on. Let me stop. Let me pause. Let me pump my brakes. Let me let this play out, and let me get
In
it set up.
Congress today, we know senators have been meeting with their own groups. We know there was a GOP Senate lunch, and Democratic senators have been huddling throughout the day to try to figure out an end to this shutdown. Still no end in sight. There potentially could be some type of vote tomorrow if some type of deal is struck, but the two sides still seem very far away. We know some of the latest offers included funding all of DHS, including TSA, but not funding some parts of ICE, including their immigration enforcement arm that we've seen in cities around the country. However, neither side is willing to say that they fully accept this deal as it stands right now.
No, because he wants us to agree
the other side to respond to
with
certain
ICE.
negotiations to see where this is really going to end up. If the Democrats are going to ask for more, if the Senate is going to accept the deal as it is right now. So still a lot of questions there as these lines continue to pile up, especially in Houston, where we just saw our Nicole Skanga.
So frustrating for so many people. And Olivia, okay, I want to pivot now to the war in Iran. What has the White House said about this 15-point plan, and what do we know about the status of any peace talks?
We definitely voted.
Well, Caroline
And
Levin held her
registered to
briefing today.
vote
She is the
the
press
election.
secretary, specifically on that 15-point plan. The White House took issue with
Yeah,
it.
but
She
some
said
of the
that some
people that they're
elements
taking
of the
off are
plan that
U.S.
circulating
citizens,
are
and
not
they're still
true.
being hassled
She
and
cautioned against reporting
intimidated,
directly on it, saying that
battered,
there are
and
some
bruised. We
parts of it
played
that
that
are
last
true,
night as
some
well.
of them that aren't. When asked to clarify what is not true exactly in this 15-point plan, she said, well, parts of it including no nuclear weapons for Iran, no ballistic missile campaigns, no robust Navy, things of that sort are true, but would not say further what is not true on that 15-point plan that we have reported has been circulating around. Now, on some of the reporting that's out there that Iran has rejected the U.S. proposal for peace talks and a U.S. plan, Caroline said that those talks actually are still continuing, even though Iran is saying they're not. So it's a little bit of a U.S. said, Iran said at this moment. She said that talks continue to be productive between both sides, and the negotiations are ongoing and very sensitive, and that is why we have not been getting a lot of detail and a lot of ability to report in the press of exactly what is going on, because these talks are so sensitive. That is what the White House is telling us. One last point, if I could, on that present that we talked about yesterday. Remember when President Trump told our Ed O'Keefe that he was given a present by Iran as a result of the ongoing negotiations? Well, someone asked if that present was allowing a tanker to carry about 2 million barrels of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. That is that critical juncture in the Middle East that is currently shut down because of the ongoing war. Caroline only said that she was going to let the president speak to that.
Interesting. All right, Olivia Rinaldi, always great to see you. Thanks so much for that update.
Hey, it's Ashley with 4
Hold
Patriots.
on.
We're in a bit of trouble. To put it plainly, we need to clear out some space in our warehouse.
Hold on, y'all. Yeah, some of what you bringing up now, we went through that last night. I don't know, I don't know what happened last night. It didn't. Yeah. Hold on. I think it was another one before. Oh no, that's not it. Hold on. Trying to find it where he said I presented a great deal And Trump turned it down. Oh no, I think it was Brian. Hold on.
The desperation does not get more obvious than this new strategy being deployed by Trump. He just took to Truth Social writing, blame the Democrats for the airport's mess. They want our country to do badly. They want our country to fail. They broke the already signed bill because they want to take care of criminals who enter our country illegally rather than American citizens. Thank you to a great ICE patriots for helping. It makes a big difference. I may call up the National Guard for more help. President DJT. That it's now the Democrats' fault that TSA agents aren't being paid, are then calling out of work, resulting in massive 3, 4, 5-hour lines at the airports, which all is sure strange because just days ago, Trump said this.
They get a deal, Republicans and Democrats in the Senate, to fund all but enforcement operations of ICE, to get those TSA agents repaid and to open up the rest of the department. Did you say that?
Well, I don't want to comment until I see the deal, but as you know, they're negotiating a deal. I guess they're getting fairly close, but I think any deal they make, I'm pretty much not happy with it.
In fact,
He's not happy with it.
Numerous times, proudly.
We want to settle. We want to settle. And I told the people, don't settle. Don't settle. Because we have something bigger. Only settle if you get the Save America Act, voter ID, and so important, proof of citizenship, etc. Thank you very much.
Whose idea was that? Open ICE at the airport.
The Iranians?
We're dealing really...
Whose idea was it?
Mine.
So
that
who-
was mine.
So whose fault
That
is
was
it?
like the paperclip. You know the story of the paperclip? 182 years ago, a man discovered the paperclip. I'm pretty much not happy with it.
In fact, he reiterated that numerous times, proudly.
We want to settle. We want to settle. And I told the people, don't settle. Don't settle. Because we have something bigger. Only settle.
They
if
got
you get the
something
Save
bigger. They
America
already
Act,
got a plan in
voter
place.
ID, and so important, proof of citizenship, etc. Thank you very
Whose
much.
idea was that? Open ICE at the airport.
The Iranians?
We're dealing really...
Whose idea was it?
Mine. That was mine.
Can I ask you
That was like the paperclip. You know the story of the paperclip? 182 years ago, a man discovered the paperclip. It was so simple. And everybody that looked at it said, why didn't I think of that? ICE was my idea. First person I called was Tom Homan. I said, what do you think? He said, I think it's great. And I'm suggesting strongly to the Republican Party, don't make any deal on anything. The most important thing we can have is what's called the Save America Act. Don't make any deal on anything unless you include voter ID, and you have to be a citizen to vote. You have to show citizenship to vote. Very easy to do. It's very insulting when they say people can't do it because they don't know how to do it. Anybody that can't do it, I think it's a very insulting thing to say. The Democrats are fully to blame with the struggle the great American public is going through at the airports. They're going through a big struggle right now, and we just put ICE in charge, and they're helping TSA, the agents, and they're working together so far very well.
And Donald Trump's own party echoed that point, saying that but for Trump, there would have been a deal.
Senator Cruz and I came up with a plan. We said, look, it's a two-step process. The Democrats have offered to open up everything but ICE. Ted and I said, okay, let's accept their offer. And then at the same time, we would offer a bill for reconciliation where we don't need any Democratic votes to do whatever we wanted to do with ICE. And that way we're out of the shutdown and DHS is back open. We submitted that, Senator Cthulhu submitted that to President Trump, as is his right. He said no. No deals with the Democrats.
No deals with the
We
Democrats.
could have had the TSA.
So who fault is it? Who fault is it?
Deals with the Democrats. It would have worked. We could have had the TSA paid by the end of the week. But the president said no deal.
Simple. I only pay $10 a month for my internet connection. Fast, unlimited, anywhere.
Have you heard about Ryoko Pro?
Even Punchbowl News reported that John Thune approached Trump with the deal, quote, but Trump said no, according to multiple sources. The president wants Republicans to stay in D.C. and keep fighting with Democrats over DHS funding and the Save America Act, the GOP's voter ID and proof of citizenship bill. Not only that, Trump warned he'd publicly slam Senate Republicans if they left town for the upcoming recess. Trump also said he'd invite all the GOP senators and their families
he
to
lost
Easter
big
dinner at
time
the White
last
House.
night.
Some Republicans took that as a threat, not a reward. So Trump took the blame. Republican senators
He thought
admitted
that
Trump
brother
took the
was
blame.
gonna help
It was
him with the
widely reported
with the
Trump
black
took the blame.
people.
And yet now suddenly Trump reverses course and insists that in fact it's the Democrats who are to blame. So why might that be? Maybe because this is what the scenes around the country are starting to look like.
Some of the longest and most frustrating security lines travelers have ever seen are getting longer this morning at some of America's biggest airports. The president is blaming Democrats for not funding the Department of Homeland Security, saying on Monday ICE will be going to airports to help our wonderful TSA agents who have stayed on the job. But Democrats have offered
Thank
to
you,
pay
Daria,
TSA
Alicia,
officers
and
in
Mrs.
every
Tom.
part of Homeland Security
Look at
except
that.
for ICE and Border Control. And Republicans are rejecting that deal. The president of the union that represents TSA workers says in a statement that putting ICE at airports won't help, writing that putting untrained personnel at security checkpoints does not fill a gap, it creates one.
Now you've got these ICE officers that are at the airport where you work. What have you observed? Have you had any joint meetings with them? Do they appear to be doing anything to help alleviate all the chaos?
Absolutely not. Today was my first day back to work, seeing them there, and I had to really compose myself before I went into the building. I get to work about an hour early. I have to be there at 3:15. I'm usually getting there around between 2 and 2:15, and I really had to compose myself because I got emotional walking through the door. Seeing these ICE agents there, they're the reason, this entity is the reason why we're not even getting paid. And to come in, and after about an hour of work, they're coming into the building, they're getting paid just to stand around, drink
Do
coffee,
nothing.
talk on the phone, walk the hallways. It's very hurtful. It's a smack in the face, if you ask me.
Without a paycheck, TSA workers are making ends meet by calling out
Doing
and working other
nothing.
jobs. Those call-outs are leading to painful...
Talk on the phone, walk the hallways. It's very hurtful. It's a smack in the face, if you ask me.
Without a paycheck, TSA workers are making ends meet by calling out and working other jobs. Those call-outs are leading to painful scenes like these.
This is crazy.
Long lines in New Orleans stretching deep into parking garages.
Maybe 2 hours, you kind of lose track.
And this was the line in Atlanta. Travelers reporting wait times of 153 minutes. At Houston's Bush Intercontinental Airport, those wait times shot up to nearly 4 hours Sunday. The nation's 60,000 TSA workers haven't received a full paycheck since the partial government shutdown began 38 days ago. They'll get another $0 paycheck at the end of this week.
So you've got massive lines and a president who was given the opportunity to fix those massive lines,
Yep.
who publicly said that he doesn't want a deal. He wants the government to continue fighting. Yeah, can't imagine why he would start to backtrack and suddenly start blaming the Democrats. Truly one of life's great mysteries. But here's the problem. The damage is done. Trump can backtrack all he wants, pretend that he didn't say what we all heard him say, but we know the truth. We know who is responsible. We know that he wanted the pain as a pretext to pressure Republicans into nuking the filibuster to pass the Save America Act. He said it. We don't have to pretend that we didn't hear him say it over and over again. For Trump, your pain isn't a bug, it is a feature. It is a tool for him to exploit. And he would rather preserve a bargaining chip than relinquish it, even if it helps thousands of traveling Americans. Because, lest there be any doubt, Donald Trump's entire presidency is not about helping us, it is about helping himself. And if we all collectively have to serve as collateral damage en route, that is clearly a sacrifice he's willing to have us make.
Right. It's a punishment. It's a punishment, and it's also leading him to the New World Order. He mad because this shouldn't be going on right now, except for us insisting on the Epstein files. Y'all should have allowed him to continue to get away with the grape and the murder. Yeah. Let's get to Candace.
All right, you guys. Happy Wednesday. I can tell you right at the top that Nick Shirley got back to me. I was super grateful. We'll discuss that. It's so great when people are normal and just respond, and then you know the truth, and then you can share it. We also have some more issues, however, with the infamous tarmac hug. This is the tarmac hug from hell.
Hi, Brenda.
Because it turns out that Frank Turek's memory
Double
makes
the
that hug impossible.
petroleum
Impossible
prices
according
and
to the
food.
timeline that they
Absolutely.
have presented, unless Andrew Colvett, as I had been claiming, was on Charlie Kirk's plane. Otherwise, we again find ourselves in the familiar predicament of somebody at Turning Point USA is lying. Pick a liar, pick a liar. It's a journey, ladies and gentlemen. I will
He
also
told
tell you that I
Congress,
spoke
no,
with someone from Hopkinson Aircraft. Remember that unmarked building we
Republicans
discussed
do
yesterday,
not
where Erica was allegedly seen? I
agree
gotta
to a
tell you right
deal.
off the bat, the conversation was
Wow.
exceedingly weird. I felt uncomfortable. And also, we've got to get to Kash Patel's girlfriend. She's speaking again. Never good when she's speaking, right? And this time, she has concocted a fantastical theory, which proves that the reason people think that she's a honeypot is because of Vladimir Putin and
Putin.
Putin's philosopher and the Catholic Church and
Hi,
Candace Owens and
Craig.
Tucker
First,
Carlson all working together
well,
in a foreign
no, they
operation.
have to give in,
I don't know what to say, guys.
they
Welcome
want to
back to
blame the
Candace.
Democrats. Right. Yeah, but he told him no deal. First he said, yeah. Elon, he said, yeah, then he said no. Congress said no deal.
All right, you guys, Nick Shirley, top of show. He got back to me, and like I said, I am grateful. But the issue is that I actually made a mistake yesterday. The signal, so many timelines got mixed in my mind, and for some reason I thought that the flight from Santa Barbara to Scottsdale on the Y-Refi plane was flying while Andrew was hosting the Charlie Kirk show, which would mean obviously that if he was live on the Charlie Kirk show, he could not have been on the plane. But I was wrong. It was not flying at that time. The Charlie Kirk show was hosted in its entirety before that plane took off from Santa Barbara to Scottsdale at 12:28 Mountain Time. So this plane actually left Santa Barbara just 5 minutes after Charlie Kirk was shot, and then it went to Scottsdale. And so Nick Shirley was very kind and gave me the details, and it's like, oh no, that I did actually do that live, and here's everything in my communications about it. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I was completely confused. I was looking at the plane while it was flying to Santa Barbara. If my theory is that it picked up Andrew Colbert, that was its dead leg from Provo. I can also tell you that we have since been able to confirm that that Y-Refi plane is in fact equipped with Wi-Fi. Again, we are calling it the Y-Refi plane only because Erica told me that that's who was aboard the jet, because it first goes from Scottsdale to Provo, and she alleges, and I don't believe her, that that was carrying Lane Schoenberger, the CEO of Y-Refi. And then it does what I presume is a dead leg from Provo to Scottsdale. That's the one that I got mixed up on. No one was actually on that plane while the Charlie Kirk show was live. And then it goes from from Santa Barbara to Scottsdale. So Andrew would, of course, have been able to message while he was aboard that particular jet. Accordingly, there's been no change, but thank you to Nick Shirley for immediately getting back to me and confirming that that was an authentically live show that took place within the 9 and 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific block. So here is our calendar, again, of the ongoings on that day, so you can see when Andrew is not available and when that Y-Refi plane is flying. You can see how I got mixed up, and I was just wrong. It happens. Moving on.
She corrected that.
A very interesting find from my producer, Mr. Frank Turek. I have told you this man, Frank Turek, he is the only one that I feel like did not at all quiver. He has been just consistent. He acted the right way when the shots rang out. You know, he ducked. Yeah, he got a little angry afterward and said I was the devil. She's the devil. Don't listen to Candace Owens. But
hey, Joe,
he was
from
tight
Australia.
on the alibis, the timelines. He presented information in just the right way. We have not been able to catch Frank Turek in any lies, right? Frank Turek hasn't made any mistakes, is what I'm saying. Well, something that is interesting, though, is he did do a lot of media. He did a lot of the media rounds in the days following the assassination. He said a lot. He said a lot in his own podcast. And I want to remind you that Frank Turek himself is a military guy. Okay, he is a former Navy officer. He also has sons in the military, I think in the Air Force and the Navy. Don't quote me on that. It's one or the other.
Thank you for the love.
And I mention that only because we all know that military men tend to be extraordinarily precise when it comes to timelines, to time in general. They are reliable when it comes to keeping track of time. It comes with their general business. It's a stereotype that holds true due to their training. Okay, that's why they even have their own time, military time, right? So it makes it interesting that you're about to hear Frank approximate what the exact or ish time was that Erica Kirk arrived at the hospital. Take a listen to what he had to say.
And then when Erica got there, she spent a lot of time talking to she probably got there, I don't know, somewhere around 4 p.m. maybe. And she spent a lot of time, as you could imagine, talking to the surgeon and talking to the hospital staff and seeing Charlie.
Oh. Uh-oh. 4 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. We have a problem, Houston. The plane in which Erica told me...
Before I forget, y'all see this? Y'all see this? It says, BB Netanyahu says, it said breaking news up here. He says it's not the U.S. decision when the war ends. It's when the Israel Defense Forces say this war ends. Benjamin Netanyahu on a world stage made Trump look small and powerless. Don't forget this, y'all. Okay. Let's go.
That Andrew was aboard that day did not land until about 4:40 p.m. Okay? So if indeed Erica was available to console Andrew and to meet Andrew on the runway when he landed, there is no way in hell she would have been at the hospital even before 5 p.m. Because even with absolutely zero traffic at all, it takes 20 minutes if you were just flying from point A to point B. Oh. Uh-oh. 4 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. We have a problem, Houston. The plane in which Erica told me that Andrew was aboard that day did not land until about 4:40 p.m. Okay? So if indeed Erica was available to console Andrew and to meet Andrew on the runway when he landed, there is no way in hell she would have been at the hospital even before 5 p.m. Because even with absolutely zero traffic at all, it takes 20 minutes. If you're just flying from point A to point B, it would take you 20 minutes to get from the Provo airport to Timpanogos Hospital. Okay? Now, by the time you account for the landing, the taxiing, deplaning, deboarding, the tarmac breakdown, the hysterics, the cry, then moving into your cars, and then driving from the airport amidst a manhunt for a killer. I'll remind you, when they get there, there's a manhunt going on. They don't know where the killer is. Don't forget that. He's on the loose. You got the SWAT teams. You got bomb dogs. You got local police forces. The feds are crawling all over. I would say you are looking at, even if you have a police escort, 5:15 p.m. the earliest.
Because he was talking about making deals, right?
Which, yeah.
Yeah. He was talking about making deals. He was, yeah. So it's almost as if, listen. It's almost like these clones is like it's two different BB Netanyahu clones. You know, one was a little soft and kind of more humble, and the other one is like real defiant. What's happening? The two BB Netanyahu clones must be Geminis. One is saying one thing, one saying another. It's just like Trump's clones. One of them is smart, sarcastic, extremely arrogant. One try to be don't know what he doing, confused. One of them can't talk. It's almost like his fake teeth finna pop out his mouth. It's like, what we doing? What we doing? Yeah. So now he's scared. Hell, he don't know. Is BB dead? I thought he was. Who? Yeah, it's somebody else in place. He has a interim person. Again, I told y'all who act like he following the rules. I thought we was in war. He don't know nothing about what deals that has been made before Bibi Netanyahu was taken out. You understand? So now he want to follow the proper standard operating military procedures. What's the procedure when somebody is blowing up all of Israel, all of Tel Aviv? Huh? What's the fucking procedure? And then you trying to say, well, no, I was working with BB and he did da-ba-da-ba-da-da-ba-ba. And whoever is replacing him or filling in for him, it don't matter what the face look like, they're not agreeing because they don't know nothing about that. Yeah, no, I didn't agree upon that. I don't know nothing about that. That don't make sense to me. I mean, we are burning over here. We are on fire. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. Come on, gig with me. Fire. Yeah, we over here on fire. They steady hitting us with missiles and shit. What you mean you trying to make deals so that you can get to the Strait of Hormuz? Yeah, that's what's going on right now.
That's a problem. Okay? Frank
They
Turek,
are indeed the devil.
Did not.
Y'all hit the like button.
And so I didn't get it wrong. I don't feel like Frank Turek said she got to the hospital around 4 p.m. and he really meant 5:15 p.m. That did not happen.
That interim don't know nothing about Ohio player.
He's not incorrect by over an hour. I don't accept that. I don't believe that, not one bit. I reject the premise, and you should too. Frank is telling the truth. And I'm going to also add here, so is Andrew Colvett. Andrew Colvett did not make the story up to me on the phone. He didn't, okay? Vibe check. I was not being lied to. Andrew told me the truth. It was too detailed, okay? It's very difficult outside of being like a high intellectual psychopath to be able to just go into very precise details about how you were feeling on the plane, how it was pent up, how the emotions were, and then when you saw the first person when the doors opened because you had no one to talk to, when you saw Erica and you quote-unquote boo-hoo cried, Andrew did not make that up. That was real, okay? He and I were having a real moment when he described that. He and Erica hugged on the tarmac. This hug will never go away. Never go away. So how do we make these 2 points, which I believe are true? I think Frank Turek is telling the truth. Erica arrived.
We met our first goal in 48 minutes.
And Andrew Colvett told the truth that he hugged her, that she was there to greet him. How do we make both of these true aboard our available private planes that came in on that day? Oh, I have an idea. It's been my idea all week. Welcome to the Candace Show. We just have to assume that my memory was correct, that Erica therefore flew in earlier than Andrew aboard a plane. I cannot confirm which plane that is yet, but I will. I'll find out. I'm going to find out, Erica. And Andrew flew aboard Charlie's plane, because that would mean Andrew landed Andrew landed on that plane at 3:31 p.m. Utah time. That's about just enough time for everybody to crowd around the airport, have a little cry, and then you're going to arrive. You got 20 minutes, police escort. I'm assuming there's a police escort around 4 p.m. at the airport, which is at the hospital, which is 20 minutes away. Okay? That would mean, again, this is crucial, that Erica was on an earlier flight. So the question that we now face is which one? Okay? There are too many inconsistencies in the story. The tarmac hug happened. Just accept it as a fact. Andrew was not lying to me. And also, by the way, I will say this. Every time we have been confronted with this predicament, many times, of Andrew tells a story and Erica tells a story, we are able to determine that Andrew is the one telling the truth. We've been faced with this many times throughout this investigation. The Hampton Summit, Andrew was telling the truth. Actually, in the end, they tried to cover it up. Oh, no, people, all these statements going out, BB call, blah, blah, blah. Andrew, in the end, was telling the truth about the hug, tarmac hug. When Andrew dropped that thing about the 30-06 and she pretended he went and broke, nope, I told you. Erica was on the phone that day. She was directing Andrew to do those things. She allows Andrew to look like a fool and like he's a liar, but in reality, it's Erica that's lying. If we're just to go with the pattern that has emerged here as we've been investigating this, Andrew's telling the truth, Andrew landed, Frank Turek is telling the truth, and they got to that hospital because Andrew was on Charlie Kirk's plane. That's what I'm putting out there. Now, the good news is that we can now fill in some more particular details about what happened on September 10th, beginning with what happened in Arizona at the TPUSA offices. And this time, it is thanks to Elizabeth Kravchuk McCoy. That's her maiden name, Kravchuk McCoy, our Ukrainian. A lot going on with her family, her background. I don't like it at all. I will say that. Don't like her. Elizabeth, what we can confirm was she was certainly at Turning Point USA's offices when the shot rang out. It was 12:23 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. The shot rang out. She, as we now know, even though this was something they all kind of hid, nobody knows why, she was actually the first person that was called. So much for Frank saying that Charlie trained him. If anything happens, call Erica, first thing, walk away. That's why he walked away. Then we find out, like, he called his wife. So he didn't follow the training, the militant training, to walk away from me. Let anything happen to me. Just make sure she gets this phone call. Okay, well, then we find out. Yeah, here are the call-ups. It was Elizabeth. So the amazing Mike McCoy, her husband, who I should mention she was set up with, it was an arranged marriage, if Charlie is to be believed. He said that in his speech at their wedding. He rang her first, and then they conferenced in Erica thereafter. Elizabeth, after she gets that call, sprints into the office of Frank, who is the lawyer at Turning Point USA, and not Frank Turek, not to be confused with Frank Turek. It's Turning Point's lawyer, and where she discovers Justin Strife, who is in the office at that time, and alerts them to what has happened. Frank and Justin then run to the Turning Point Action Building. Not sure why, I don't know who was there, but that's what they did. I'll say allegedly here, but that's the story. Elizabeth then asks someone to drive her to the airport, and that registers to me as odd. I'm wondering why. Is she not licensed?
I have no sympathy for
Is
devil.
she too upset to drive to the airport?
Just look at
What are
Tell
our
me
options
who
here? I don't know
is
the
causing.
answer. I do know who drove her. The person who drove her is Lauren Tonkich. Lauren Tonkich, I should know how to say her name. She's a very long-time employee of Turning Point USA. I would call her one of the TPUSA OGs. Back when I was there, Lauren was there. She was at that time helping with everything, to be honest.
You
she
two
volunteered
people.
for the task to drive Elizabeth to the airport. I want to be clear, that is approximately 30 minutes away in Scottsdale. So like I said, that was immediately weird to me, because then I thought, wait a second, but you know who's missing from this equation? Stacey Sheridan. Where is Stacey Sheridan?
Her
is like the de
again.
facto mom to Erica. She's going to step in. It's the only person Erica needs to be around. She's going to be the one recording Charlie in the casket. She's going to be, momager for everything that's... Where was Stacey Sheridan? Was Stacey Sheridan at the office? No, Stacey Sheridan was not at the office. Stacey Sheridan is missing. Actually, Stacey Sheridan is allegedly home in Scottsdale. I would like to now put out an APB for Stacey Sheridan on September 10th, because I can confirm she was not at the Turning Point USA office, and this is interesting because Stacey Sheridan lives with Erica and Charlie, the same apartment complex, not in the same apartment units, but she just moved in ahead of this. She moved in after her husband passed. I think she was initially living in California, and she chose to move into the apartment that Erica and Charlie live. They really are a family, guys. It's weird. Mikey McCoy is there all the time. They're always all together.
Yeah, no,
it's
that's
creepy.
too much.
Let me just say this to you guys.
Yes, she do her
Go
homework.
home. Like, once you are done with work, please go home. Let's just all live in a little hippie commune together and see each other.
That's
and
cut life.
Go home. Have a life outside of work. Your job is not your family, actually. It's just a job. And if anything happens to you, if we have learned anything in this Charlie Kirk story, you'll be replaced. Maybe even by your wife. Anyways, I'm now interested, because that's something that strikes me as
Okay,
like,
Joanne.
did anybody see Stacey Sheridan on September 10th? It's another person we can look out for. What about Tyler Boyer? Because I do feel that Erica and Tyler flew together definitively. Was Tyler Boyer at the office on that day on September 10th? Did you see Tyler Boyer on September 10th at the office? If so, what time? Do you have a text from him saying he was at the office? If so, please email us. We want to hear from you. More tips at CandaceOwens.com. This is an interesting person to be missing. Mama Stacy. She didn't need her family there. No, not her real family. Forget her friends, her family, everyone she grew up with. Remember, Erica grew up in Scottsdale. Everybody's right there, right? Mom, okay, mom's a little sick. Dad, aunts, uncles, everybody. Doesn't everybody live here in Scottsdale? I think even I heard that Nicole Rothstein, once upon a time, lived in Scottsdale. Where are all of you? Where's your family? Where's your high school friends? No, when my husband dies, I want to be with the chief fundraiser. She's my mom now. Okay, Erica. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. You're a very shady person. What happens next, this is Elizabeth McCoy's alleged narrative, is that she then receives a phone call. She's at the airport. She receives the phone call that Charlie did not make it. She alleges that for whatever reason, she beats Erica to the airport, which is remarkable to me, given how close Erica and Stacey live to the airport. All of this, a lot of action is happening. But Elizabeth tells people that she had to break the news to Erica that Charlie was gone. She's the one that told Erica when Erica gets to the airport and she's inside of this terminal that, or this FBO, that Charlie was gone, and Erica collapses and screams. Now, there's that for whatever reason, she beats Erica to the airport, which is remarkable to me, given how close Erica and Stacey live to the airport. How close the alleged appointment that she says her mother had that day. She was with her mom, and I'm going to debunk that in a future episode, probably tomorrow. Erica's very close. Where's Erica at this time? Why has nobody seen Erica or Stacey during all of this? A lot of action is happening. But Elizabeth tells people that she had to break the news to Erica that Charlie was gone. She's the one that told Erica when Erica gets to the airport and she's inside of this terminal that, or this FBO, that Charlie was gone, and Erica collapses and screams. Now, there's a lot wrong with that story. We don't need to nitpick. It's Turning Point USA. Okay, you don't need to take anything they say as fact. It's just another Turning Point USA narrative. Of course, right off the bat, Erica told me that the doctor called her directly and informed her that Charlie was dead, and that seems much more appropriate to me. But like I said, there's no two stories that are the same at Turning Point USA. I should mention, the point of interest, that there was a lot of evidence that Mikey McCoy's assistant, who knew he needed one, a young woman who by all accounts is very kind and very nice, but her name is Catherine Locastro. She was a part of the team that transported Erica to the airport on that day, and she also went out to Utah. People found that to be very weird. She's very young. What is unknown is when or how the priest showed up to the airport, but he was also in tow as well, as we told you guys yesterday. Now, according to Elizabeth's narrative, Mikey's assistant, Catherine, got sick on the plane, overwhelmed from the emotion. As soon as they landed, they raced to the hospital. I guess nobody waited for Andrew Colbert, except they did. Andrew Colbert is to be believed.
Okay, y'all, it's telling me my my connection is not connected to my modem. So if it kicks off,
to see
bear with
body
me.
for the first time.
The modem connected, checking router.
Weird. It's wrong and it's weird. And I'm sure there'll be some neocon to explain to you if it's not. It's just you.
Y'all please hit the like button.
With people that you kind of just became friends with and that are like young, a lot younger than you. It's just, it's weird.
Here's the part I don't understand. The police department decided whether or not there is
Catherine, who, like I said, it sounds like she's quite innocent. She's well liked. I can say that at least. To grab.
Yeah, it's a lot going on with them.
The car that Charlie bled out in.
Okay, we're back online. Okay.
That he was transported to the hospital in, and when she opened the vehicle and she saw the blood, she was apparently very traumatized, according to Elizabeth's narrative. Now, Elizabeth
How in the
left
world
the
was there
hospital
no
and went to then
autopsy?
gather the items for everyone to stay overnight since they did not pack any
Because
bags.
it's
This is where the
CIA,
Paolo story comes in.
and
But
they
you'll
will be able
note
to
that there was curiously
determine
no mention of Andrew
determine
Colbert in that narrative.
what type of bullet
For
it
the
was.
5th, we were told by Frank Turek
See,
regarding the
we were supposed
vehicle and
to
had taped it
take what
off.
they
We were
say
about
and
to get
run
into
with
it.
it,
So what could be so
no
important
matter how
in the
sloppy
vehicle
it
that they
looked.
needed to send this young Catherine to retrieve something? Charlie wasn't traveling with a bag. He had a private plane. If he had a bag, he would have left it in the plane. He wasn't planning on staying there that night, didn't pack anything. I've traveled with him many times where we had his phone and gum, water. I'm just leaving that as an open-ended question. And I have another update for you, which is interesting. I was able to connect by just a very strange set of circumstances, a giant coincidence yesterday, with someone who works at Hopkinson Aircraft. Okay, remember we told you this yesterday. There's this weird unmarked building. It looks weird, and this is apparently where Erica was when she had this little collapse, second collapse of the day episode. And I'll just say, foremost, they would like me to clarify that they are not a CIA front company. They do real business. Okay, they do real business, not a CIA front company. I always like, whenever I say a lot of stuff, I'm always interested in like what they focus on. I thought the website just looks a little weird, but they probably do real business, okay? So just put that out of your mind. Okay, that aside, it was weird. Very, very weird. Basically, it just so happens that after I go off air yesterday, I have a conversation with a friend in Scottsdale, a friend of mine who I trust, and the person, I hang up the phone with them, and they're like, I have a dinner. I gotta run dinner. It turns out that he was going to dinner with somebody who works for Hopkinson Aircraft. I can't even figure out how that happened. Like, the chances of it happening are slim to none. I woke up this morning, I had a text from him, which was like, hey, first you mentioned on your show and sent me a photo. You got to connect with him. He doesn't even know Erica. Yeah, he was there when she got the news that Charlie was dead, but saw her at the airport, whatever. But that was just like kind of a coincidence. I'm like, what a weird coincidence. But he's got a lot of good details, and you should call him. I'm like, okay. So I'm calling, thinking maybe there's an off chance that what we missed here was he just saw her out of the window. Maybe she got the news in a parking lot. Maybe she collapsed in 2 parking lots that day. One was at the airport. Good to have the confirmation that this person also told my other, didn't know we have this friend in common, that he saw Erica at the airport. Get on the phone with this guy thinking he's going to be like, oh yeah, I saw her at the airport. Because if you don't know her, who cares, right? That's where she's supposed to be. You would just be confirming her alibi, right? Clammed up, super weird, effectively said, I will not confirm or deny. That's, to sum it all up, it was like I'm like, okay, like, what do you mean won't confirm or deny? Like, did you see her? Did you not see her? Did you, like, what did we say? No, I don't know. I'm like, okay, did you tell people that you saw her? But I could neither confirm or deny. I don't talk about things. And it just made me feel really uncomfortable. Again, there would be nothing wrong with seeing Erica where she's supposed to be. It's not something you have to be clammed up about. It's just like, yeah, that's where she's supposed to be, right? Yes, sir. Didn't have a conversation, but just happened to see her. And then I'm like, okay, so now you're saying, like, multiple people are lying here. And did you tell people this? And then it was like, I will neither confirm or deny. Are you saying this person's a liar? No, I'm not saying that person's a liar. Are you saying that I have this wrong? Well, I'm not saying you have this wrong. I just can neither confirm or deny. It's like, I don't have you, like, this isn't a court hearing.
You guys in
just
the
trying to
bushes
figure
can
out
still
what
hit the
happened on
like
that
button.
day.
Yes, you can.
So
Like,
I
share,
wanted to
and
share that.
subscribe.
This person
You can
is
get your
not in the
membership.
CIA.
You can
It's
send a
not-
super
it's not like
chat,
a
a
CIA
super
front company. It's
sticker,
a totally legit
as
business.
well
You
as a
should buy
cash
directly
app.
from them, but also this person cannot confirm or deny
Show some
whether they
love.
saw Erica that day at their offices. And yeah, we will pause there and come back after a brief break. All right, you guys, thanks.
Hit the like button. Double tap the face of your screen. Hit the 3 dots at the top right corner. Come on.
Sportsnet/Owens. So look, Zionists are down real bad right now, okay?
Yep.
It is
The devil
just
is
not
losing.
a good time to buy
The
stock
devil
in
cover
Zionism.
is blown.
And everybody is just seeing things clearly, some people for the first time. And I think there has been sort of a proliferation of this, especially in the wake of Charlie's assassination, where we were just fed so much objective BS that it was kind of hard to even focus. You're just going, are they really going to just try to pull this off? They're just going to tell us that there's a bullet that they can't match to the weapon, a bullet fragment they can't match to a weapon. They don't know why it didn't go through. Charlie's Superman. Anyway, then they're deeply upset that Joe Rogan, as I told you, similarly has weighed into this, and I missed this part where he specifically spoke about the Superman neck theory. Take a listen to what Joe Rogan had to say.
The Kirk thing's weird because now there's video footage from behind.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, the round that he was supposedly shot with was a 30-06, which is a big round. That's a round that you kill a moose with.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't even have an exit wound.
Right.
It don't make no sense. It makes 0 sense.
Well, you hear about this Joe Kent?
Yeah.
Yeah, they told him not to research or investigate.
Yes.
So what's up with that?
He said that they were told to stop their investigation.
Yeah.
And that they were going to handle it.
And he just resigned.
And meanwhile, have they handled it? Like, we haven't seen that guy, the guy who loves furries, who supposedly killed Charlie Kirk.
Tyler
Robinson?
Yeah.
We haven't seen him talk.
No.
He hasn't said he did it. He hasn't said he didn't do it. There's no...
He ain't said nothing. He ain't said...
independent video of him talking about it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And then there was footage of him, like, at a yogurt shop.
Right.
Like, way across town, like, 20 minutes later. The whole thing is, like, super sus.
It just is objectively super sus, and apparently now they're at the phase where they're angry at people for noticing. And the craziest thing,
How you gonna
that
be
you'll
mad
read today
because
is why
somebody
I actually
peeped
am
y'all
just going to
gang?
see this as Kash Patel's revenge. I think when Kash Patel went in to the FBI, there was kind of this ideal he was going to right the wrongs and make sure that he took down the deep state, and then he just fumbled every plausible ball, right? I mean, you had Pam Bondi and him, the Epstein files first is the first thing that happened. Obviously, would be the biggest thing with Trump saying, what Epstein files? Are we still talking about the Epstein files? And then the Charlie Kirk assassination. We're going, wait, Charlie Kirk literally helped all of you guys get into power. Are you really letting it go down like this? Like this is, we are looking at the deep state. And I think he is now seeking his revenge on people who he feels have thus far are I guess, guilty of ruining his reputation as a professional. And he's doing it via his girlfriend, okay? The young woman that he once referred to in a real tweet as a country music sensation. Most embarrassing thing that's ever happened. Like, should have immediately had to resign. If this was like Russia, he would have just disappeared, I think, in general. And yeah, he was, just to give you an update, he was flying this girl on, flying to see her on the FBI plane, going to see her in Tennessee. He has also sent a police force to protect her. Like, where I think, are we paying for that? Is this like our tax dollars are going to protect his country music singing young thang? She's definitely got a government security detail, and her name is Alexis Wilkins, in case you're not familiar with her. And people have been suspecting that she's a honeypot, and that he's an unserious human being, especially, like I said, given the Charlie investigation. Well, Alexis was deeply upset by the honeypot allegations, so much so that she began suing content creators and claiming that it harmed her professionally. Professionally, she's like sings the opening at Turning Point USA events. Like, that's what she does. I don't see how that could have harmed her professionally. You should go listen to her music. We can't play it here because we'll get hit. That's what happened last time. But she's not that talented, is what I would say. And that's putting it mildly. She's definitely not what I would refer to as a sensation. But that's not all she's done. So apparently, for them to maybe they're exacting their revenge together. For the last few months, she's claiming that she began building a program or a data set to determine how anyone could think that she's a honeypot. Now, the obvious answer is because they have eyes, right? They suspect it because they have eyes. Anybody would say this if they saw these two together. Somewhat earlier said, if I just literally saw them in a restaurant, I'd be like, that man must have money, right? But no, it's never common sense. It's never obvious. It's got to be something way deeper. And she has come up with the idea that Russia was behind the attacks on her. And she presented this theory in a 13-part thread explaining how she realized that Russia was behind a foreign influence campaign that controls me and Tucker Carlson and Joe Kent and General Michael Flynn. And they are doing it through the Catholic Church. Even though Russia is an Eastern Orthodox society, apparently Vladimir Putin, because he really wanted to go after this country music sensation with the purpose of taking down Kash Patel and MAGA, he decided to repair the schism. I'm just gonna let you see her thread, and I can't read the whole thing because it's dizzying. It's hard to follow, but it's 13 parts, and you're gonna see she starts to refer to tweets as chapters, and I'm really sad that we're at this point in America where a tweet can be considered a chapter. I'll go back, you can scroll back up. She says a foreign-linked influence network has been running coordinated operations against the Trump administration for 22 months. I know it's real because they ran one against me. I was targeted in something that I knew was far from organic. The level of media is isolating, unwanted, and unwarranted.
A
There was nobody to
foreign-linked
help.
influence
There's
network.
nobody help. She's literally dating the FBI director and has a government security force following her. There's nobody to help, nobody to jump in and say, this is a false op and help me. Well, I don't believe in problems without solutions. So I spent the last few months learning to build programs to utilize publicly available information to prove that this is way bigger than me. This is about creating chaos in the Republican Party. So then she goes through and she kind of, you can see, she then says, recaps, I was falsely labeled a Mossad spy, and then she says she noticed that people started retweeting it. There were 15 pairs that retweeted in 10 seconds of each other. So in that tweet, she's just kind of generally learning how Twitter works, and she thinks she has stumbled upon something. That's how Twitter works. There are accounts, and you tweet something. If they agree, they retweet it. So that's, Jack Dorsey could have probably explained this to her in less time than the months that it took her to come up with this theory. Then she says the network has a trail. Catholics for Catholics lists General Michael Flynn as their senior advisor on their own website. Flynn is the anchor of a digital infrastructure that has been repeatedly activated at every major Republican fracture point. No, she's just not going to prove that, but I guess she just picked on the Catholics for Catholics, a very young organization. General Michael Flynn spoke there. By the way, that's the first time that I've ever spoken to General Michael Flynn that I remember. Maybe I met him at a random event a long time ago. But my memory, like, it would be years ago if I met him previously, and I don't think I have, but it's possible because it's Turning Point USA. So she's now putting this at the event that I spoke to a couple of weeks ago. It made her go, aha, it's the Catholics. Let's keep going here. Then she gives us chapter 1, and by chapter 1, she means just one tweet. Chapter 1. No, sweetheart, this is one tweet. This is not a chapter. Okay, we can't, no, not even a first grader would call this a chapter. Then she explains how before the Butler assassination, and then chapter 2, which is just a tweet again, she says that a coordinated narrative falsely identifies FBI director's girlfriend. So it's as a Mossad honeypot. She's somehow connected. I don't know how this jumps from the Catholics to there. You have to read it. It's too stupid for me to understand. Then she goes, the amplifications that were documented, she found out that Russia Today retweeted it. So a news publication in Russia retweeted it, and that's how she then realized that, well, then there's got to be international conspiracy. Obviously, if Russia ever covers news that's happening in America, it's because Vladimir Putin is behind the thing that's happening in America. It makes perfect sense if you suspend rational thinking, okay? Then she jumps in and she explains I'm in chapter 3. It looks like to be 4 sentences. Charlie Kirk's assassination. Within hours, Candace publicly attributes the killing to Israel and targets Kirk's widow by name. That's just made up. That's just a lie. Chapter 3 is just a lie. I was not naming Erica. I said nice things about Erica, about her speech. Didn't start covering Erica until Erica lied to my face in December, but that doesn't matter. This is Kash Patel's girlfriend. In fact, she can just put whatever facts she wants there. And so she's now correlating, my hubby, I did go after Kash right away. So I went after her boy, and that's what she's upset about. And so she's woven that in, I think, somehow. And then chapter 4, she talks about Joe Kent resigning, which just happened. And then Catholics for Catholics, he was at the event. And yeah, that is literally only the, I think, second time I've ever even seen Joe Kent. I did not know Joe Kent at all prior to the assassination. His name became familiar to me because the news article, which we covered, which said that he was standing up to Kash Patel. So, but she's now woven this all together because why would we all be at the same event? And once again, she shows that when he resigned, Russia Today covered it. So obviously, Vladimir Putin is doing this, and she then shows that the data clearly demonstrates that the same people that are interested in the Butler assassination are the same people that are interested in Joe Kent's resignation, and they are the same people that are interested in Charlie Kirk's assassination. By golly, guys, she has figured out that the MAGA voting bloc might be all interested in these topics. Yes, Alexis, that is called you have properly identified a group of people that are interested in the same political themes. So if you're a Trump voter, you were interested in the assassination and figuring out who did that. If you're a Trump voter, you're going to be interested if he decides to go to war with Iran and Joe Kent resigns for that information. If you're a Trump voter, you're going to be interested in the Charlie Kirk assassination. That's not a conspiracy. That's common sense. Anyway, I don't know what chapter we're on. You can keep scrolling through, but she showed the data that these same accounts were interested in these same topics, and then somehow said that General Flynn is running it. And so I just want you to know that she spent months on this, and then discovered that this must be intentional and it must be to inflict harm on MAGA. So I want to help her understand what is happening and what is actually inflicting harm on MAGA. The first thing is I think, generally speaking, MAGA voters and Democrat voters care about children being raped. Okay? That seems like something they might care. I don't think that's inorganic. When people are upset that Trump says, are we still talking about the Epstein files? And then basically Thomas Massie has to fight him tooth and nail alongside some others to get the Epstein files. And then we discover what's in the Epstein files. That's going to harm his base because of what he did. Okay? The second thing that I think might be going on is that people think your boyfriend's ugly. I think they think your boyfriend's ugly. I don't know how to say it to you. And so when they see you and they see him, they think this seems like a mismatch unless maybe he's super duper rich or super duper powerful and she's been sent as a honeypot. And I wasn't the one who put that out, so I'm not being sued by you. But I just want to help you connect that dot. And as the news goes, when in the midst of an international war like Iran, which would have implications, of course, all across the world, somebody resigns and says that this is an immoral war, people are going to cover that in different countries. Russia even might cover that. So I do just think that some people think your boyfriend's butt ugly. I think that's all that's happening. I don't think there's a conspiracy here. But I do invite you onto the show to take us through it. Take us through the data sets that you built, the models that you built, to bring us to this crucial understanding that it could be Vladimir Putin. She also mentions his philosopher, Alexander Dugin, and doesn't understand that people just have eyes and they don't believe what we're saying, what Cash says about the Charlie investigation, and they don't believe what you say about your relationship. There's generally a rule. If you have to sue to prove that your relationship is real, it's maybe not. I don't feel like I have to sue anybody when they say George and I are not in a relationship. People have made those allegations before. I don't care. I don't know why you seem really upset about that. I also want to add, it didn't help that after she did this thread, like the first person who retweeted her was Bibi Netanyahu's son, Yair. It's just like, when they're calling you a honeypot, you just gotta be like, not now. That didn't help. Anyway, here's your boyfriend at a recent hockey game. This is another reason why people maybe don't take him seriously, but here he is. Maybe you think that's cool. Maybe you think that's cool. I don't know. Maybe you think it's cool, but I think they just think he's a tremendously unserious person, as are you. Anyway, the real person who's running the entire op is Tim Dillon. I always want to throw that in there, and I'd love to have you on the show. Important to note that just in general, Catholics have been under the attack. This is a real headline in the Daily Wire, not that surprising. It's the Daily Wire, and it says the Catholic convert boom is real, but a trouble pattern is emerging. And so you can see what the trouble pattern is going to be. That they in that article is that they're not Zionists. That's why there's always attacks on Catholics. It's because Catholic does not imply Zionism in the way that Southern Baptists might imply Zionism. And so elsewhere in the article, that's what he spelled out. And it's just really interesting because there's that meme, unlike many branches of Christianity, this is in the article, the Catholic Church does not demand that the faithful be committed Zionists to receive God's blessing. Many prominent members of the church have spoken out about the plight of civilians in Gaza. Yeah, great. This makes us happy. We love that. We think that's great that we are not manipulated by the idea that we're not going to get into heaven if we don't support Bibi Netanyahu. And I do want to say that what's really funny is there's that meme where they deny something is happening, and then suddenly one day they're like, okay, this is happening, but let me tell you why it's a good thing or a bad thing. So this is them acknowledging, okay, it is happening, but let me tell you why it's a bad thing. And it made me laugh because last year I remember I was like being gaslit about the growth of the Catholic Church, particularly by Ali Stuckey, who definitely has a thing about Catholics. And I just tweeted like, oh, this is great. The Catholic Church, this was in April of last year. Oh, it's so great all around the world. The Catholic Church is growing and Protestant denominations are on the decline. And all should ponder why that may be. And then Ali jumped in and was like, respectfully, no, that's not true. And then she puts in an article, I think you have that tweet, respectfully, it's not true. And then she sort of like, we just go back and forth, and she's like, it's not true, it's not true, it's not happening. She also did like a super long post beyond that, I think in September of last year, of why like, this is not true. The popular narrative is that the Catholicism is booming, but this is not true. And now you fast forward to today and they're all like, okay, it's true, but let me tell you why it's a bad thing. And there are so many articles now that show how much the Catholic Church is growing. We can just show you a few of them here. But U.S. Catholic population shows growth, trends southward, which is true. Here is another article. That was actually an old one, but this one's from 2025, August. More Americans joining Catholic Church than leaving for the first time in decades. Here is one that was in the London Times. Catholics outnumber Anglicans 2-1 among Gen Z churchgoers, which is amazing. And so it's, there's a conversation happening. Is part of it being driven by people that are feeling disenfranchised by Zionism? Yeah. When they can see things that are obviously evil and you're telling them that it's not evil and that they're not going to be saved unless they turn the other way. Yeah, I'm sure that it kind of removes the scales from your eyes a little bit. But anyway, I think it's great for Catholics. But we are fully under attack. There's no question about it. And that thread and having the FBI's girlfriend do that really shows you how there's no way that you can attach it to Catholics for Catholics, but she just does because she doesn't like that Joe Kent's Catholic and I'm Catholic or something. And Tucker, who she mentions, is Episcopalian. So he's just always catching strays. Poor Tucker, he's always catching strays. We'll be right back after a brief break. All right, you guys, do you owe back taxes, or maybe you've not filed tax returns, or you've filed every year but you still keep owing somehow? Maybe you retired and suddenly got hit with a tax bill that you didn't expect, or pulled money from your 401k or IRA early, and now the IRS wants its share. However your tax issues, church history, philosophy, catechisms, missals, prayer books, even works that dive into the Catholic social teaching.org. All right, you guys, top comment from last episode. We have from Cece, if I am killed, don't send the cops, send Candace. I got you. I will be there if that happens. I will investigate. Also, Sarah writes, they are investigating Joe Kent harder than they investigated Charlie's murder. Yeah, I am telling you, we are watching Cash's revenge. Like, he's angry. It's so obvious that he's angry. Andrew Colbett's angry. Erica is angry. I forgot to mention this. It came to me actually last night. When I met up with Erica, she brought up Joe Kent, and I was so confused. I need to get my notes from when we sat down, but she was asking me about, if I recall correctly, this was a part of the conversation where we were discussing the hospital that day. And Andrew was the one who had called me and said that, like, there was attacks against me, or like there was threats against me and Tucker Carlson. And for some reason, Erica thought that was Joe Kent, and she kept asking about Joe Kent, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I genuinely was telling people, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why you're bringing up Joe Kent. And she was like, well, was he your source at the hospital? And I said, no, Andrew Colbert was. And then she said, oh, because there's some guy, and she mentioned Joe Kent. So Joe Kent has been on her mind for a long time, and I don't know why that is. I don't know why she got to Joe Kent, and I didn't push too hard on that. I was like, no, I didn't. Obviously, when all this happened, I didn't know who Joe Kent was. And I know that him and Cash are clashing or whatever it is. But she mentioned Joe Kent to me, and she thought that he was my source at the hospital, and it wasn't. It was Andrew Colbert. Yeah, anyways, just sharing that random fact that came into my head. And I forgot the name that she said that she thought was giving Joe information, and she thought somebody who I'd never heard of was giving Joe information, and that Joe was giving me that information. And I just told her, no, I don't know what you're talking about, which was true. More comments from today's episode. Actually, I'll also remind you guys, we have new merch. That's exciting. There is new merch. It is great merch. Check this out. On the website, we have Public Enemy number 1. That is me. Probably should have put Tucker's face there too, if we're being honest. Also, you can buy the Mossad is Listening crew neck. So just say that Israel is after the show. If you're running out of time, that works as well. Okay, comments from today's episode. 7 Sheets writes, I have so much respect for Charlie being so vocal in his stance against what would be a disastrous war. He has been completely vindicated, sadly. I hope true fans of his will be as vocal and principled. God bless that kind and thoughtful man. He was so right. I mean, seeing the clips of him saying how it would play out, how they always think it's going to be a day, it's exactly what they said. Oh, they're done. Iran's done. And now Trump's like negotiating with Iran. Iran is dropping some fire propaganda, by the way. They're
Iran,
pretty cool
hold on, what?
It's definitely a lot better than the White House's, which feels like it's on YouTube, and we have a link in the description if you prefer shorter clips of the show because you're running out of time. That works as well. Okay, comments from today's episode. 7 Sheets writes, I have so much respect for Charlie being so vocal in his stance against what would be a disastrous war. He has been completely vindicated, sadly. I hope true fans of his will be as vocal and principled. God bless that kind and thoughtful man. He was so right. I mean, seeing the clips of him saying how it would play out, how they always think it's going to be a day, it's exactly what they said. Oh, they're done. Iran's done. And now Trump's like negotiating with Iran. Iran is dropping some fire propaganda, by the way. They're dropping some pretty cool propaganda. It's definitely a lot better than the White House's, which feels like it's just boomer slop. Natty Nicole writes, wait, I thought Elizabeth patched in Erica when she was on the phone with Mikey. But then Elizabeth also told Erica at the airport. Yeah, 2 different things I think you're confused about. The first thing is just the initial phone call that Charlie had been shot. And that took place, obviously, when she was at the office. Apparently, she screamed, and then she went and she found Justin Strife. The later phone call that she told people was when they found out that Charlie didn't make it. And I don't believe that narrative at all. But that would have happened later. The Nicole writes, I spent the last few months learning to build programs to build my conspiracies. Tell me you are a honeypot without telling me you're a honeypot. Shh. Nicole, you're going to get sued. She's suing. Nicole, you better watch it. She's coming for you. The FBI's coming for you, Nicole.
She said what?
Heidi Gumbert writes, my cat died on Monday. I've already grieved longer than Erica Kirk. Genuinely, when my cat died, it took me years. I just now feel ready to have a new cat. I just didn't want to replace the cat. It just felt weird. But I feel like now it's been 5 years. So I do want a cat, and I don't mean to trigger Alexis Wilkins, but I particularly want a Russian blue cat. So add it to the data sets. They're very pretty. I love the Russian blue cats. Vonnie Miriam writes, pretty rich Wilkins is implicating General Flynn since he was exactly who brought Kash Patel into the Patriot movement through the Awaken America tours with Clay Clark. Yeah, I don't know how that relationship soured. That was weird. I don't really follow. It seems like Kash Patel's issues with a lot of people. But clearly General Michael Flynn is on his list. And it's funny because then later on she says that the purpose of this is like to not get people to sign up for the military. And I'm like, wait, General Michael Flynn is working to get people not sign up for the military? Like, it literally just makes no sense. Everybody hates you guys because of what you're doing. Okay, that's always the easier, the Occam's razor. It's because of what Trump is doing and what he's not doing. It's because of what Kash is doing and what he's not doing. And also, like I said, I do think that people think your boyfriend's ugly. And I don't think that that's my fault or anybody else's fault. I didn't say it. I'm just saying that that's where the honeypot rumors are coming from. It's not that deep. It's just people with eyes think that something is not organic in that relationship. And certainly suing is not helping people believe that your relationship is real. Because that's not what you do if your relationship is real. Just like you don't sue someone to prove that you're a woman. Okay, like it's just not a thing that you actually need to do if you're actually a woman. Anyway, I think I read all of the comments. Oh, one more person I missed. Love of Light. Love of Light writes Chapter 1. I've been watching your show since the beginning, and I absolutely adore you. Chapter 2, it gets better and better every day. Chapter 3, go Max. I want to buy that at Barnes & Noble. Get that published. You find a book publisher and you put it in, I will read all of those chapters and I will sign that book for you. So thank you so much, Lover of Light. Thank you guys. Again, APB. Stacey Sheridan on that day. I know I have contacts that are live in that same building. If you guys remember seeing Stacey Sheridan, that would be great. Still can't get an Erica sighting. But I do have a lot of issues with her Lori alibi. That is very problematic, that alibi. Falling apart. It's falling apart. And I will tell you more about that tomorrow.
Okay, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not going to even attempt to go further because I didn't get nowhere near the likes that I should have gotten for my hour and 30 minutes. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Good night.